Good morning, Internet. It's Bear with BearIndependent.com. I'm in this lovely meeting room at this lovely hotel because we're in the lovely big city for a little bit of business and a little bit of pleasure. And I wanted to just give you a few observations of the city. The first thing that strikes me, we went to a very large city park. We, meaning my wife, my family, my kids, all of us together. 66-acre city park on the river in a major Midwest city. And it was a nice park. Splash pad area and very cool playground areas and beautiful sitting areas, and it was just very nice. They fence off the greenscapes in between where people are on the concrete and where plants are not on the concrete. You're not allowed to go touch them for fear that you might damage them. And in one way, or on one side of the coin, I can understand that. And on the other side of the coin, that's why it exists, so that you can interact with it. I mean, there was a beautiful patch of blueberries the size of my thumb. Couldn't get at them. They're behind the fence. Yep. But it occurred to me while we were here that these people at this place, because there were thousands of people there, and despite the signs to the contrary, we were armed. What's the name of that book? Clandestine Carry by John Mosby is a very good book about what to carry, when to carry, and how to carry it, and the tactics to employ to get your piece out and use it if you need it. Clandestine Carry by John Mosby. And also, I don't have a tripod with me, so I'm resting this phone on top of my Nalgene bottle, hoping that it's not too jumpy for you. But I may have to switch arms at some point. But we were carrying, and the reason we were carrying is that the people there at this park reminded me of animals in zoos. Yes, these people were like animals in a zoo. They had no instincts. They were oblivious. They were existing in these enclosures, these fake green spaces, and water provided by the man that pours out of a concrete spillway for your pleasure. Highly dependent upon the zookeepers to provide them with the utility and facility required for them to simply exist. It was downright depressing as an amateur anthropologist and full-time people watcher. Don't get me wrong, it was a lovely park, and I was able to compartmentalize that stream of consciousness and just let that run on autopilot in the background and enjoy my time with my family. But those people aren't people. They're not awake. They're dangerously asleep, dangerously dependent, and shallow. And they're not as safe as they think they are. They're not even remotely safe compared to how safe they believe that they are. Here, we're gonna do this over here, because this arm's a little sore. There we go. They're not near as safe as they think they are. Without sounding egotistical, they were more safe because my wife and I were there than they would have been. You see a lot of people in security positions around here carrying radios, nothing more. We went to see a show. We saw a band by the name of The Dead South. They had an opener. They had two openers. The first opening act was called Wood N November, the letter N, Wire, Wood N Wire, and they were stupid good. From Austin, Texas, they were tremendous. Really, really good guys. Talked to them after their set, and my wife bought their album. Very, very, very good show. The Hoot and Hollers were not quite my taste. They were kind of like rockabilly, greaser rock meets dirty blues, three-piece with a singer, a drummer who sings, a guitarist, electric guitarist, who had a very good voice, kind of dirty, gravelly voice, and then on bass, a female, but she didn't play a bass guitar or a cello or an upright bass. She played a baritone saxophone. I believe it was a baritone saxophone. And it was a very interesting combination of sounds that did make for music, just not my cup of tea. And then finally, The Dead South, which is kind of a modern bluegrass. And they were tremendous. You want to talk about command presence? Their front man has it. They can work a crowd. Their show was perfection. Perfection. The lighting was spot on, and lighting matters. As a guy who's played a bunch of shows in a bunch of places, their lighting guy did a great job, and it was perfectly choreographed to the music. The sound was excellent. The music was excellent. The crowd was excellent and well behaved, which was good. There was one person who passed out during the show. EMTs arrived. You want to talk about sheeple? I was probably the fourth or fifth person to him. I was the fifth person to him. The other four people there were around him. They were people that he had come with, and he had passed out, fallen backwards, smacked his head on the hardwood floor. That's a problem. Give him room, people. EMTs got there, took care of him. I do want to again reiterate, though, that The Dead South puts on a phenomenal show. It was perfection. Perfection. My face hurts from smiling so much last night. My legs are sore from stomping them on the floor. At a blast. It's really good. I was up 3 hours past my usual bedtime. I turn into a pumpkin at 9 p.m. So if you get the opportunity to see any of those bands, including The Dead South, go see them. They were phenomenal. And you should check out Wood N Wire, Wood November Wire, Wood and Wire. Tell them Bear sent you as well. Really good guys. Now, we had to get frisked by security to walk into this place. And by we, I mean I, because for sexual harassment reasons, I'm assuming, they'd frisked 0.0 women. 0.0 women. Now, having been a bouncer and played a bunch of shows, typically speaking, the extreme violence does not come from women. There's a cat fight here and there, but the extreme violence doesn't come from women. But the first thing my wife said to me when she was in, she goes, you know, it's a good thing I'm not carrying a gun, but I totally could be. I said, yeah, you totally could be. To say nothing of the fact that they allowed you to leave the venue, go to your car, and then come back in again. That's a problem. But, and the security guys seemed like decent guys, but their protocols were miserable. They were designed much more for show, to give the appearance of having some efficacy, and they're see and be seen. There was one police officer there for 1,500 people, possibly more. But my wife could have carried a gun right in through the front door. She could have carried it in and handed it to me. I could have carried in a full-size .45 auto. Why? Because the frisk job was horrendous, and they didn't go anywhere near the groin. Now for me, because I'm me, I was giving the guy a hard time the whole time. I'm like, come on, sailor, I love it. Let's do it. Yeah, that's the spot. And, you know, he's getting super uncomfortable about it, but I'm like, bro, this is your job. I could have carried in knives in my boots, no problem. I could have carried in all kinds of things. I had a tourniquet in my pocket that he obviously felt and made zero mention of. He looked at me, I looked at him, he didn't even bring it up. Hey, what's that in your pocket? It's a banana. No, I'm just happy to see you. No, it's a tourniquet. Because at least I have that with me. So point being, people are not as safe as they think they are. There's the appearance of safety, but not actual safety. We made the comment after leaving that city park that we would much rather be home in our woods, in our creeks. Like, that was fun. It was nice to see, but it's got nothing on what we've got. It was hot and dirty. It was 87 degrees, but it felt like it was 97 degrees because everything is made of concrete. There's exhaust everywhere. There's lots of noise. I understand why people kill each other in the summer in cities. I totally get it. Just on a base human level, I totally get it. The thought might have crossed my mind a couple of times, and I wasn't here the whole, you know, we've been here 24 hours so far, and we're fixing to leave. But it was hot and dirty, you know. And again, when we are in this this venue, we know where all the exits are. We had an evac plan, my wife and I. We had a meetup spot. We had a protocol that if we get separated from each other, we meet at this place at this time. We had commo. We would have been okay, barring somebody, you know, just opening up into the crowd and hitting either of us, you know, we would have been fine. Which, frankly, and it sucks to say, but the potential there for that was huge, huge. The guy's EMT bag was like a 15-liter backpack. It's like, I got more stuff in my truck, in the bag that I grab if I'm on scene at an accident, or if somebody busts a knuckle on a job site. I've got more stuff in there than the EMT did. So it's the perception of safety. And that's very much so what the city is for me. It's just perceptions. It's not real. This is not how people are really made to live. People are not really interacting. They're really dependent on the system. The higher your population density, the more dependent on the system you get. You're in a cage in the zoo, waiting for the zookeeper to show up and make sure that your poo is gone, or that your food shows up, or that you're comfortable, or you have all the things that you'd like to have. And I'm like, and you're paying out the nose for the privilege. I've never been a city person. Now, I've enjoyed our time here together as a family, but I'm looking forward to going home again. These people are zoo animals. They've lost their instincts. They've been declawed. They have no horns. And they might think, well, yeah, we got street smarts. This is the city. Walk into my alley and find out, son, you don't want me in your alley. Believe me. You don't want me anywhere else in this place either, and neither do I. Come out of her, my people. It's past time. Well, if it's past time, why would I do it anyway? It's time. Go. The Father created Adam in the wilderness, and he brought him into the garden where he created Eve, still wild, still full of life. He created neither of them in a 26-story high-rise or a concrete alley or a manicured city park, giving off airs of wilderness, but not actually. You were created with a wild streak in you. You were created to be in touch with your Creator and His creation. You don't need a fence in between you and the blueberries. Get the hell out. I can't wait to. Shalom.